Guys, someone in the front, flip that lamp in, please.
Well, William charged. I don't care. I want the lamp plugged in. Yes. Can you wait till after notes? Yeah, see if you can. If not, let me know and we can send you. But I don't want you to miss these. How many do you need? Two.
Good sir, you gave me two.
Thank you. Okay, guys, listen up. Guys, listen up. For the third time, listen up. No, people are not. Today is the last day, and I'm going to give you a seating chart and make you sit there. Okay, I think as freshmen we can handle sitting wherever we need to. Stop. I was hoping as freshmen and sophomores we can handle where we're sitting, but if we can't, then I will give you a seating chart and I will not let you move at all. If your computer is dead, sorry about you, you're not going to get participation points. So please, show me you can handle sitting wherever, and you can pay attention for the 15 minutes of notes that we do 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, so these notes are 3-2. So go ahead and put 3-2 up in the right corner so you know it's Unit 3, Section 2. So that way when I ask you to pull out Unit 3 notes for before the test, and we'll have a quiz next week. We won't have a test because it's a short lesson or short unit. Before the quiz next week, you know which ones are from Unit 3. So this is Unit 3, Section 2, so 3.2. So what we're going to look at is we are going to graph functions. We looked at functions yesterday. I know a function has to pass what test? Vertical line test. So I need to be able to take a vertical line and not hit more than 1 point. So all I'm graphing are functions today, so these should all pass the vertical line test. So functions can be represented by an equation. There's 4 other ways to represent a function, or a relation for that matter. What are the ways I can represent a relation? There's 4 ways. How can I represent a relation? No, how can I represent a relation? We talked about 4 ways yesterday. Nope, get out your notes. We talked about 4 ways to represent a relation. So when I ask you guys to get out your notes, I expect you to get out your notes so you can actually look this up. Because if you don't put an effort, then you're not going to know how to do this. 4 ways to represent a relation. We talked about it yesterday. Ordered pairs is 1. Table. Mapping. Graph. So the 4 ways we have to represent a relation are mapping. We could list ordered pairs. We can do a table, or we can do a graph. Another way is we can represent a function, which is a special type of relation, as an equation, and that's what we're going to look at today. We can represent it as an equation. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to graph this equation, and to graph this equation we are going to make a table and then plot points. So if I look at this example in the top, they give you the x values. So they will, for this class, they will already give you the x values to use. So all you're going to do is you're going to take that x value, you're going to plug it in, and then that's going to tell you what the y value is, and then you'll have an ordered pair. So kind of like we did yesterday on the warm-up. If x is -1, they will tell you what your x's are. If x is -1, you're going to take -1, plug it in where 1 is, or plug it in where x is, and then simplify it. What is 2 times -1? Okay, -2. Everyone have a calculator out so you can do this math with us, please, like I've said a couple times. So please have your calculator out so you can actually do this with us. So go grab a calculator if you don't have one so you can actually do this math with us. So grab a calculator, please. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so when I plug in a -1, should have a calculator out, please, so you can actually plug it in. First thing we do, order of operations, we multiply first. 2 times -1, -2, minus the 3. Okay? So 2 times -1 is -2, -2 minus 3 is -5. So my y value is -5. When I plugged in -1 for x, I got back a -5 for y. So my ordered pair is -1, -5. And then I plug in 0. You can draw arrows. Then I plug in 0. So if I plug in a 0 for x, we're going to have y equals 2 times 0 minus 3. Now, I want to see this work on your homework. You're only going to have 10 questions today. I want to see you plugging it in. Now, you don't have to show every single step, but I need to see this first part where you plug it in. So if you just want to
show these 2 steps, that's fine, but I need to see some work. You don't necessarily have to show the multiplication and then, but I should see something like this. Okay, so now if I look at plugging in 2, so now I'm going to take my equation, I'm going to plug in 2 for x. So y equals 2 times 2 minus 3. 2 times 2, 4 minus 3, 1. So that is 1. So I need to see the part where you plug it in. This is not super hard stuff. You guys can all do this. If I look at the last one, if I look at 4, let's plug in 4 for x. So y equals 2 times 4 minus 3. 2 times 4 minus 3, 5. So 4, 5 is your other point. So I want to see work like this where I'm seeing you plug it in, don't just have numbers. Now, these are 4 ordered pairs, so I'm going to have 4 points. So let's graph these. For what we're going to do today, they will make a straight line. So if your points aren't making a straight line, double check you did something wrong. -1, -5. How do I graph the point -1, -5? Left 1, down 5. 0, -3. So I just go down 3. 2, 1, right 2, up 1. And then 4, 5. So right 4, up 5. For what we are doing today, they should make a straight line. Draw the line through it, because this is an equation. It's not. It doesn't just give you ordered pairs. It gives you an equation. So you're actually going to have a line. Just draw. It doesn't. They don't need to be super straight. Now, this is a function. Why is this a function? How do I tell whether a graph is a function? The x doesn't repeat. If I do a vertical line test, it doesn't hit more than 1 point. So all your graphs for today should be functions. Okay, any questions on that?
What if they're not?
They will be. Then you did something wrong. Okay, let's look at 2. If I look at 2, 2 is a little tricky. I still give you an equation. We're going to plug in points to find my y values. But what's tricky about it is I have a fraction. Well, use a calculator. You'll be fine. So let's look at the first one. If I plug in a -4, we're just going to draw arrows so you can see where I'm showing my work. If I plug in -4, it's y equals 3/4 times -4 minus 2. So we're doing the same thing. We are taking -4 and plugging it in where x is. Do not freak out because you see a fraction. Plug it in your calculator. Let me show you again. So if you don't have a calculator, your calculator? Anybody else see the calculator? Okay, so plugging in a fraction in your calculator, don't make it harder than it is. All you do is, if I am taking 3/4 times a -4, you're going to take 3, that ABC button, which is right here, means fraction. So we're going to do 3 ABC 4 times -4. And make sure when you do the negative, you don't do the subtraction. You use the number left of the inner button. So 3 ABC 4, which is 3/4, times -4, which is -3 minus 2, which is -5. So that is -5. So you don't have to necessarily show every single step, but I need to see this step where you're plugging it in. Any questions on that?
No, this is pretty simple.
Okay, let's plug in 0. Y equals 3/4 times 0 minus 2. So now I plug 0 in where x is. I need to see this part where you're plugging it in. Okay, 3/4 times 0? 0 minus 2. Negative 2. That was pretty straightforward. Okay, let's look at the next one. Let's plug in 4 for x. So y equals 3/4 times 4 minus 2. Plug that in your calculator. 3 ABC button 4, 3/4 times 4, which is 3, and then minus 2, 1. So that is 1. So make sure you know how to enter a fraction into your calculator. And then let's plug in 8. If I plug in 8, y equals 3/4 times 8 minus 2. So 3 ABC button 4 times 8, 3/4 times 8, 6 minus 2, 4. Okay, you don't have to show all the work necessarily plugging it in if you're using a calculator, but I need to see at least this. I need to see at least you plugging it in. Okay, let's graph, do what?
Can we do the backside after this?
Yep, just a second. Let's graph the points. -4, -5. So left 4, down 5. Should make a straight line for today. 0, -2.
We can't go over.
4, 1. Do what?
We can't go over.
Okay, so if I can't go over 8, just kind of estimate where it'd be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, somewhere there. Up 8, right 8, up 4, something like that. So you can make a good guess if it's off. And we need to make it needs to make a straight line. So as long as you're close, that's fine. And we'll draw a line through them.
Do you have to do that? Or?
Yep, I want to see all 4. Yep, and then draw a line through them. That's it. Okay, any questions on that? Let's look at one more. Let's look at 6. Okay, let's look at 6 real quick. If I look at 6, okay, guys. Okay, if I look at 6, so let's plug in -3 for x. 1 minus 1/3 times -3. Now, when you plug this in your calculator, it's flipped. The x is on the back, which is the same thing. It's not really anything different. So when you look at this, you have to take the negative with the 1/3. So when you plug it in your calculator, it's going to be a -1/3 times a -3. So use the negative button left of the enter sign. So -1 ABC button 3. So -1/3 times -3, which is 1. And then I still have, so if that is 1, I still have 1 minus the 1. Nope, that would be plus 1. Sorry. So -1/3 times a -3 is a positive 1. So it's 1 plus 1, which is 2. So -3, 2. Thank you. Okay, any questions on that one? Okay, let's plug in 0. If I plug in 0, we'll do it down here. If I plug in 0, y equals 1 minus 1/3 times 0. 1/3 times 0? 1? No, 1/3 times 0? 0, so it's just 1. Okay, let's plug in 3. So y equals 1 minus 1/3 times 3. Okay, do that in your calculator. -1/3 times 3, and then whatever that is.
-1.
So 1 minus 1? 0. And we'll do one more. Last one, let's plug in 6. If I plug in 6, we have y equals 1 minus the 3rd times 6. What's -1/3 times 6? 1 minus 2, -1. Okay, so not hard stuff. I think you guys can all do this. Okay, let's graph this real quick. We should have a line. So -3, 2, left 3, up 2. 0, 1, so up 1. 3, 0, so right 3, don't go up or down any. And then 6, -1, so go a little past, down 1. So if you have to go a little estimate on the other side, that's fine if it goes off. Draw a line. Okay, there you have it. Okay, you should get straight lines for all these. Okay, any questions? We'll wait on the back side. Okay, let me pass out the homework real quick. Are there any questions on this?
No.
Okay, so here's homework. Should be pretty straightforward today.
Huh?
Said it should be pretty straightforward today.
Yeah.
Yes, keep the notes out. Isaac, take your headphones out, please.
I'm doing all my work.
Or just do it on the back. There's the back's open.
No, that's okay.
Whatever, I don't care. Just make sure you staple it to it.
I'll talk around it.
Okay, so what I would like you to do, you could technically do, guys, listen up. 1 through 4, you can definitely do, and you may, Will, listen up, please. I will make sure you're paying attention. 1 through 4, you can definitely do, and you may be able to get 7, 8, 9, and 10 done as well. So 7, 8, 9, and 10, I give you the equation, you have to match it with the table. So start taking your x values, plug them in like we did, and then see which one matches, see which table matches, okay? So 1 through 4 you can definitely do. You could probably do 7 through 10 as well, okay? So get started on this. I'll give you about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll finish the notes.